Some roads have a reputation. Locals know which ones to avoid after dark, which ones have too many accidents, which ones feel wrong. But there is one stretch of highway in rural Montana that doesn't just have a reputation, it has a body count, and the people who go missing on it are never found, not their cars, not their belongings, not a single trace. This is the story of Route 191 and the three friends who decided to drive it at midnight. In October of 2018, only two of them made it to the other side. Jake Mercer was 24 years old. He loved road trips, loved adventure, loved pushing boundaries. His friends called him fearless. His mother called him reckless. In October 2018, Jake and his two best friends, Chris and Amanda, decided to drive from Bozeman to Salt Lake City. Google Maps suggested Route 191 through the Gallatin Canyon. It was the fastest route. Jake said yes immediately. Chris hesitated. He had heard things about that road, stories that locals whispered about in diners and gas stations, stories about cars that pulled over and drivers that never came back. Jake laughed it off. "It's just a road," he said. "Roads don't swallow people." He was wrong. They started driving at 11 p.m. The plan was to drive through the night and reach Salt Lake City by morning. The first hour was fine. Dark highway, mountain scenery, good music. Amanda was in the back seat sleeping. Chris was in the passenger seat scrolling his phone. Jake was driving. Then, around midnight, the radio cut out. Not static, not a bad signal, just silence. Jake turned it off and on again. Nothing. Chris looked up from his phone. "My signal is gone too," he said. Jake shrugged. "We're in the mountains. It happens." Then they saw the car, parked on the side of the highway. Hazard lights blinking slowly, engine running, no one inside. Jake slowed down. "Should we stop?" Amanda asked from the back. She was awake now. Chris said no immediately. Something about that car made his skin crawl. The doors were wide open, both of them, like someone had left in a hurry or had been taken. Jake kept driving, but 2 miles down the road, he saw another car, same thing, parked, hazards on, engine running, doors open, empty. "Jake," Chris's voice was low. "Don't stop." Jake didn't stop. He pressed the accelerator harder, but then a figure stepped out of the tree line onto the road. Jake slammed the brakes. The car skidded to a stop 20 feet from the figure. It was a man, or it looked like a man. Tall, thin, standing completely still in the middle of the highway. His clothes were torn, his face was pale. He wasn't moving, just standing there, staring at the car. "Drive around him," Amanda said. Her voice was shaking. Jake started to steer around the figure, but a man didn't move. He just turned his head, slowly, and watched them as they passed. Jake floored it for the next 10 miles. Nobody spoke. Then Chris said quietly, "Did you see his eyes?" Jake said nothing. Amanda said nothing, because they had all seen it. The man's eyes were completely white, no pupils, no iris, just white. They drove in silence for another 20 minutes. Jake's hands were shaking on the wheel. Then Amanda screamed. Jake hit the brakes again. "What? What happened?" Amanda was staring out the back window. "There was someone in the back seat," she whispered. "Right next to me." Jake and Chris spun around. The back seat was empty, except for Amanda. "There was someone there," she said again. Her voice was barely audible. "I felt them, right next to me, cold, like ice cold." Jake started driving again, fast, Nobody looked in the mirrors. Nobody spoke. Then Chris said, "Where's your bag, Amanda?" Amanda looked down. Her bag was gone. She had placed it on the seat next to her when they left Bozeman. It was gone. In a locked moving car, doing 80 miles per hour, on an empty highway in the middle of Montana. Her bag had vanished. They made it out of Route 191 at 2:30 a.m., the moment they crossed into Wyoming. The radio came back on. Chris's phone signal returned. Amanda stopped shaking. They pulled into the first gas station they found. Jake went inside to pay for fuel. The man behind the counter, old, weathered, locals written all over him, looked at Jake carefully. "You come down 191?" he asked. Jake nodded. The old man was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "How many of you started the drive?" Jake frowned. "3 of us." The old man looked past Jake, through the window, at the car outside. He counted slowly. Then he looked back at Jake. "Son," he said quietly, "there are only 2 people in that car." Jake spun around. Through the gas station window, he could see Chris in the passenger seat. The back seat was empty. They found Amanda's phone on the side of Route 1913 days later, sitting on the shoulder of the road. Perfectly placed, screen facing up. No Amanda, no bag, no trace. Search and rescue combed that highway for 2 weeks. They found nothing. To this day, Amanda Reyes from Bozeman, Montana, is listed as a missing person. Jake and Chris have never spoken about that night publicly. But Jake gave one anonymous account to a paranormal research group in 2019. He said only one thing that he hadn't told police. He said that when the figure stepped onto the road and turned his head to watch them pass, Jake looked in the rearview mirror, and the figure was smiling, and standing next to him on the road was a girl with long dark hair, wearing Amanda's jacket. Route 191 in Montana is a real highway. It is one of the most statistically dangerous roads in America. The disappearances are real. The missing persons cases are real. And if you ever find yourself driving it after dark and the radio cuts out, don't stop for anyone on the side of the road. Don't look in your mirrors, and whatever you do, count the people in your car before you start driving, and again when you stop. We all spend hours online every day, scrolling, clicking, searching. Most of what we find is harmless, but every once in a while, someone stumbles onto something they were never supposed to find. Something that knows things it has no business knowing. This is the story of a 31-year-old man named Ethan Cole from Chicago, Illinois. A man who found a website one night that told him exactly when he was going to die. And was right. Almost. Ethan was a web developer. He lived alone, worked from home, spent most of his life online. He knew the internet better than most people. He knew the dark corners, the strange forums, the weird rabbit holes. He thought he had seen everything. On a Tuesday night in March 2022, he was doing what developers sometimes do late at night, browsing obscure corners of the internet, testing old links, exploring forgotten websites. Then he found it. A plain white web page, no images, no logo, no navigation. Just a single text box in the center of the screen, and above it, 4 words. "When will you die?" Ethan laughed. He typed in his name, Ethan James Cole. He hit enter. The page went blank for exactly 3 seconds. Then text appeared. Not a date, not a time, a description. It said, "You will die alone. in your apartment, on a Tuesday, after a long period of silence. Your phone will be on the floor beside you. The last thing you will hear is rain against the window. Ethan stared at the screen. His hands had stopped moving, because outside his window, it was raining, and it was Tuesday. He told himself it was a coincidence. A clever program that checked the weather and the day automatically. Smart coding, nothing more. He closed the laptop and went to bed. But he couldn't sleep, because the description had said one more thing. One thing he hadn't told anyone. One thing no program could have known. It said, "You already know this is how it ends." And the worst part was that he did. Ethan told his friend Derek about it the next morning. Derek was skeptical. "It's a random generator," he said. "It says something vague and creepy to everyone." Ethan pulled up the website to show him. The page loaded, but this time, the text box was gone. Instead, the page showed a single line of text. "He can see you reading this, Derek." Derek's face went white. He had never visited that website before. Ethan had never told the website Derek's name. Derek grabbed his phone and called his girlfriend immediately. She didn't answer. He called 3 more times. Nothing. He drove to her apartment in a panic. She was fine. She had been at the shower. But when Derek told her what had happened, she pulled up the website on her own laptop. This time, the page was completely different. It showed a photograph of Derek's car, parked outside her apartment building, taken from above, taken right now. They called the police. An officer came and took a report. He looked at the website on their laptops. On his screen, the website showed something different again. A single sentence. "Badge number 4471 should not be here." The officer's badge number was 4471. He closed the laptop immediately. He told them it was likely a sophisticated hacking operation. Someone accessing their cameras, their location data, their personal information. He filed a report and left quickly. He never followed up. Ethan spent the next 3 weeks trying to find the website again. He couldn't. The URL returned a 404 error, like it had never existed. He posted about it on several forums. 2 people responded saying they had found the same website. Both of them described the same experience, personalized information, things no program should know. One of them said the website had told her she would lose someone close to her within a week. Her father died 4 days later. The other respondent stopped replying mid-conversation. Ethan never heard from them again. 6 months later, Ethan was working late on a Tuesday night. It was raining outside. He knocked his phone off his desk by accident. It landed face down on the floor beside his chair. He reached down to pick it up and froze because his laptop screen had changed. He hadn't touched it, but the website was open. The plain white page, the single text box, and above it, those 4 words, "When will you die?" But this time, the text box was already filled in with his name, and below it, new text was appearing, letter by letter, slowly, like something was typing it in real time. It said, "Not tonight, Ethan." He stared at the screen. His heart was hammering. Then one more line appeared. "But we will finish this conversation soon." The page went blank. The website was gone again. Ethan moved out of his apartment the next morning. He now lives with his brother in Denver. He no longer works from home. He no longer works late on Tuesday nights, and he told one interviewer last year, "I know it sounds crazy, but I genuinely believe that website saved my life, because whatever it is, whatever it knows, it could have finished that description anytime it wanted. It chose not to, and I don't know if that makes me feel better, or so much worse. The website has never been identified. No hacking group has claimed responsibility. No developer has come forward. But in the last 2 years, 17 people on various forums have described finding the same page, the same plain white background, the same 4 words, same personalized responses, same impossible knowledge. Most of them say the same thing afterward. They couldn't sleep for weeks. They checked their cameras, changed their passwords, moved apartments. But one thing stayed with all of them. One thing they couldn't explain away. One thing that no hacker, no program, no algorithm could have known. Whatever that website told them about themselves was true. Every single word. So tonight, if you're browsing late and you stumble onto a plain white page with a single text box and 4 words above it, close your laptop, turn off your phone, and do not, under any circumstances, type your name, because it already knows who you are. It's been waiting for you specifically to find it. Everyone has a place they love. A cabin in the woods, a lake house, a family retreat, a place that feels safe, familiar, like nothing bad could ever happen there. For the Henderson family, that place was their cabin in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. They had been going there every summer for 15 years, until the summer of 2021, when they realized something had been living under that cabin, and it had been watching them for a very long time. Tom Henderson was 42 years old, his wife Karen, their 2 kids, Lily 14 and Ryan 11. Every July they packed up the car and drove 4 hours from Nashville to their cabin. No Wi-Fi, no distractions, just family, nature, and quiet. Tom called it their reset button. In July 2021, they arrived on a Friday evening like always. But this time, something felt different. Tom couldn't explain it. Just a feeling, like the cabin wasn't as empty as it should have been. The first night, Lily couldn't sleep. She told her parents the floor kept making sounds, not creaking, not settling, scratching, like something moving slowly beneath the floorboards. Tom went downstairs at 2 a.m. and listened carefully. Silence. He told Lily it was probably a raccoon under the cabin. It happened every few years. He went back to bed. But the next morning, Ryan came to breakfast pale and shaken. He said he had looked out his window at 3 a.m. and seen something in the tree line. Tom asked him what it looked like. Ryan was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "It was tall, Dad, really tall, and it was just standing there, staring at the cabin." Tom looked out at the tree line. Nothing there. "Probably a deer, buddy," he said. Ryan shook his head slowly. "It was standing up straight, Dad. Like a person." That afternoon, Tom decided to check under the cabin. There was a small crawl space beneath the floorboards. He grabbed a flashlight and got down on his hands and knees. He shone the light into the darkness. What he saw made him stand up immediately. The ground under the cabin had been dug out, not by weather, not by erosion, by hands. Large sections of earth had been scooped away deliberately, creating a shallow trench running the entire length of the cabin, like something had been lying there for a long time. And there was a smell. Tom had hunted deer his whole life. He knew the smell of a living animal. This was different, thick, musky, wrong. He backed away from the crawl space and said nothing to Karen. He didn't want to scare her. But that night, he loaded his rifle. At 1 a.m., the scratching started again. This time everyone heard it. The whole family was awake, sitting in the living room, lights on. The scratching moved slowly from one end of the cabin to the other. Long, deliberate movements, like something was dragging itself beneath them. Then it stopped, directly beneath where they were sitting. And then 3 slow knocks came from below. Boom, boom, boom! Karen grabbed the kids. Tom raised his rifle. Silence. Then they heard breathing. Low, slow, rattling, coming from directly beneath the floorboards, right under their feet. Ryan started crying. Lily had her hands over her mouth. Tom was completely still. Then the breathing stopped, and something hit the underside of the floor so hard. The coffee table jumped. Tom fired 2 shots through the floor. The cabin went silent. They ran to their car and drove 4 hours back to Nashville at 2 a.m. Tom called the local sheriff the next morning. 2 deputies went to check the cabin. What they found in that crawl space was in the official report. A trench approximately 40 feet long and 3 feet wide, dug by hand, animal bones, dozens of them, deer, raccoon, something larger. Drag marks leading from the tree line to the crawl space entrance, and on the wooden underside of the floorboards, claw marks, deep ones, running the entire length of the cabin. The deputies estimated whatever made them was approximately 8 to 9 feet tall, standing upright. The report listed the cause as unknown animal activity. The case was closed 2 weeks later. Tom sold the cabin in September 2021. He told the buyers it needed work. He didn't tell them what kind. The new owners moved in that October. By December, they had listed it for sale again. When Tom called to ask why they were selling so soon, there was a long pause on the other end of the line. Then the new owner said quietly, "Does something come and stand outside at night? Tall, just standing there at the tree line." Tom said nothing. The man continued, "Because we've seen it every single night since we moved in. It just stands there. And last night," another pause, "last night it waved at us." The Smoky Mountains of Tennessee have one of the highest concentrations of Bigfoot sightings in the United States. Park rangers receive dozens of reports every year. Most are dismissed. Most are never investigated. But if you ever rent a cabin in those mountains, and you hear scratching beneath your feet at night, don't knock back. Don't shine a light into the crawl space. And whatever you do, don't look toward the tree line after dark. Because if something is standing there, it already knows you're home. And it has known for a very long time.